My father kicked me out when I got pregnant. Years later, he begged me to save his life, and I said 7 words he never expected. Hi everyone! Before we get into today's video, I need your help. We've noticed that the channel's reach has been dropping a bit, and one of the best ways you can support us is by subscribing. It's quick, free, and helps us keep bringing you new and interesting stories. Your support means the world to us, and together, we can grow this channel. Thank you so much. Now let's get to today's story. I'm writing from a temporary account for obvious reasons, and I've changed some details to protect my anonymity. I remember the cold of that November night as clearly as if it were yesterday, not 15 years ago. I remember how the rain hammered against the windows, how the wind howled through the cracks in the doorframe, how my father's voice cut through it all like a blade. Get out of my house. 4 words. That's all it took to shatter everything I thought I knew about family, about love, about the man who had taught me to ride a bicycle and held my hand on the first day of school. I was 19, 3 months pregnant, and terrified. I had come to him that evening after dinner, my mother clearing the plates, my younger brother already upstairs doing homework. The dining room smelled of roasted chicken and potatoes, my father's favorite meal. I thought maybe a full stomach would soften him. I was wrong. Dad, I need to tell you something. He looked up from his newspaper, reading glasses perched on his nose. In my memory, he looked so much older than he actually was, only 47 then, his hair still more black than gray, his shoulders still broad from years of construction work. What is it? My hands were shaking. I'm pregnant. The newspaper came down slowly. Too slowly, like the moment before a car crash when time stretches and you can see the impact coming but can't stop it. What did you say? I'm pregnant, 3 months. Who? His voice was ice. Marcus, you remember him. That boy from community college? He stood up. The chair scraped against the floor with a sound like nails on a chalkboard. The one with no job, no future? Dad, we love each other. You're going to what? Ruin your life? Destroy this family's reputation? Do you know what people will say? My mother appeared in the doorway, dish towel in her hands. Richard, please. Stay out of this, Elena. He didn't even look at her. His eyes were locked on me, and in them I saw something I had never seen before. Disgust. We're going to figure it out, I said, my voice cracking. Marcus is looking for work, and I can still finish school. No. He said it quietly, but it was final. No daughter of mine will walk around this neighborhood with a bastard child, bringing shame to this family. Richard! My mother's voice broke. She made her choice. He turned to me, and his face was stone. You want to act like an adult? You want to throw your life away? Fine, but you won't do it under my roof. Dad, please. Pack your things. I want you gone in an hour. The room tilted. You can't be serious. Do I look like I'm joking? He folded his newspaper with sharp, precise movements. 1 hour. And don't think you can come crying back here when that boy leaves you. You made your bed. Now lie in it. My mother grabbed his arm. Richard, she's our daughter. She's 19 years old. Where will she go? She should have thought of that before she opened her legs. I felt something crack inside me. Not break, not yet. Just crack. Like ice on a frozen lake when you take that first dangerous step. Mom? She looked at me, tears streaming down her face, but she didn't move. She held his arm, but she didn't step forward. She didn't choose me. Mom, please! Elna, go upstairs. My father's voice was final. She looked between us, her husband of 23 years, and the daughter she had given birth to, and she chose. She dropped his arm and walked past me without a word. I heard her footsteps on the stairs, heard her bedroom door close. I was alone. I packed 1 suitcase. I don't remember what I put in it. Clothes, probably. Some photos. My mother's gold cross necklace that she had given me for my confirmation. I took that out of spite, or maybe hope. I don't know. My brother, Daniel, stood in his doorway watching me. He was 14, his face still round with childhood. "Where are you going?" he whispered. "Away." "But where?" "I don't know." He looked terrified. "Can I come visit you?" I kissed his forehead. "Not yet, but someday, I promise." It was a lie. I wouldn't see him again for 11 years. My father waited at the front door like a bouncer at a club. He didn't help with my suitcase, didn't say goodbye. Just opened the door and stood there, waiting for me to leave. I stopped in front of him. "I'm your daughter." "Not anymore." 7 years of ballet lessons, 5 years of piano, every school play, every parent-teacher conference, every birthday cake, every scraped knee, every nightmare he chased away, all of it gone in 3 words. "You'll regret this," I said. "I doubt it." I stepped into the rain, heard the door close behind me, heard the lock click. I stood there for a long time, suitcase in hand, rain soaking through my jacket, and I waited. I waited for the door to open again, for my mother to run out, for someone to say they'd made a mistake. The door stayed closed. The rain kept falling, and I started walking. Part 2. Survival. Marcus left 3 weeks later. We had been staying at his friend's apartment, a cramped studio above a laundromat, where the walls vibrated every time the industrial dryers kicked on. Marcus kept saying he'd find work, kept saying we'd get our own place, kept saying everything would be okay. Then one morning, I woke up and he was gone. No note. Just half the money from our shared envelope missing, and a text message that came through an hour later. "I'm sorry, I can't do this." I was 19, 4 months pregnant, and alone in a city where I knew exactly 3 people, and Marcus had been one of them. I called my friend Sarah. She picked up on the 4th ring. "Can I stay with you for a few days?" That's how I learned who your real friends are. Not the ones who party with you, or study with you, or laugh at your jokes. The real ones are the ones who say yes when you call at 6 in the morning with nothing but desperation in your voice. Sarah's apartment was smaller than Marcus's friend's studio. She slept on a futon in the living room and gave me her bedroom, a space barely large enough for a twin mattress and a dresser. But it was warm, and it was safe. "You can stay as long as you need," she said. I stayed 3 months, until my belly got so big I couldn't hide it anymore, and Sarah's landlord started asking questions. My daughter was born on a Tuesday in June, 7 pounds, 3 ounces, black hair and gray eyes that would eventually turn brown like mine. I named her Emma, after my grandmother. The nurse asked if I wanted to call anyone. "No," I said. "There's no one." That night, alone in the hospital room with my newborn daughter sleeping in a plastic bassinet beside me, I wrote a letter to my mother. I told her about Emma, about her tiny fingers and her perfect little nose, about how she had my chin but Marcus's ears, about how I was scared and alone, but also filled with a love so fierce it hurt. I never sent it. Instead, I tucked it into my journal and focused on the only thing that mattered: survival. The first year was the hardest. I found a job as a waitress at a diner that opened at 5 in the morning and closed at 2. The owner, a 60-year-old Greek woman named Dora, let me bring Emma to work in a car seat that I kept behind the counter. When Emma cried, Dora would pick her up and walk her around the kitchen, singing Greek lullabies, while I refilled coffee cups and took orders. "You're a good mother," Dora told me once. "Better than you know." I wanted to believe her. I rented a studio apartment in a building where the heat only worked half the time, and the neighbors fought so loudly I learned to sleep through screaming. But it was mine. I paid for it with money I earned. Nobody could take it away from me. Emma's first word was Mama. Her first steps happened in that tiny apartment, from the kitchen counter to the futon, while I held my breath and cried. Every milestone felt like both a victory and a reminder of what she didn't have: a father, grandparents, a stable home. But she had me, and I had her. That had to be enough. 3 years in, I enrolled in night classes at community college. Dora watched Emma during my classes, refusing to take any money. "You pay me by making something of yourself," she said. 5 years in, I got my associate's degree in business administration. 7 years in, I got a job as an administrative assistant at a law firm. It paid twice what the diner did, with benefits and regular hours. 10 years in, I bought a small house in a decent neighborhood with a backyard where Emma could play. It wasn't much: 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a kitchen with appliances from the 1990s, but it was ours. Emma was 11 by then, tall and smart and funny in ways that surprised me every day. She played soccer and loved reading and had a best friend named Sophie who came over every weekend. She asked about her father sometimes and about her grandparents. "Why don't we have family like other kids?" she asked once. "We do," I told her. "We have each other." "But what about your parents? My grandparents?" I had practiced this answer for years. Sometimes family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up. She thought about this. "They didn't show up?" "No, baby, they didn't." "That's their loss," she said, with the fierce certainty of a child who has never been abandoned. I held her tight and hoped she would never know how much those words meant. The letter from my mother came when Emma was 12. It arrived in a plain white envelope with no return address, forwarded through Sarah, who apparently my mother had tracked down somehow. The handwriting was shaky older than I remembered. "Dear Sophia, I don't know if you'll read this. I don't know if you should, but I need you to know that I'm sorry. I should have protected you. I should have stood up to your father. I should have chosen you over his pride, over his anger, over everything. I was weak, and you paid the price for my weakness. Your father hasn't changed. He still won't speak your name. He acts like you never existed. But I think about you every day. I wonder if you're okay, if you kept the baby, if you hate me. You have every right to hate me. I heard from Sarah that you have a daughter, that she's beautiful, that you're doing well. I'm glad. You always were stronger than me. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry and that I love you. I always have. Mom, I read it 3 times. Then I put it in my drawer and tried not to think about it. But late at night, when Emma was asleep and the house was quiet, I would take it out and read it again. And again. And I would wonder what would have happened if she had said these words 15 years ago when they could have changed everything. Part 3. The phone call came on a Thursday afternoon in October. I was at work, reviewing contracts, when my cell phone rang with an unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Probably spam, but something made me pick up. "Is this Sophia Martinez?" "Yes." "This is Dr. Patel from Mercy General Hospital. I'm calling about your father, Richard Martinez." My heart stopped. "Your father was admitted 3 days ago with acute liver failure. His condition is critical. We've run extensive tests, and he needs a transplant immediately. Living donor transplant is his best option, and as a family member, you may be compatible." I don't understand. Why are you calling me?" "Your mother provided your contact information. She said you were estranged, but that you were his daughter. Ms. Martinez, I'll be frank with you. Without a transplant within the next few weeks, your father will die." I sat down. My hands were shaking. "Does he know you're calling me?" "Yes. He asked us to." 15 years of silence. 15 years of building a life without them. 15 years of telling myself I didn't need them, didn't want them, didn't care. And now this. "I need to think about it," I said. "I understand this is complicated, but time is critical. Here's my direct number. Please call as soon as you've made a decision." I hung up and stared at my computer screen, seeing nothing. That night, I told Emma. She was doing homework at the kitchen table, math problems spread across her notebook. I sat down across from her and waited until she looked up. "Baby, I need to talk to you about something." She put down her pencil. "What's wrong?" "Remember how I told you about my parents? About what happened when I was pregnant with you?" She nodded slowly. "My father, your grandfather, is very sick. He's dying, and I might be able to save him." "How?" "I might be a match to donate part of my liver. It's a big surgery, but people can live with part of a liver. It regenerates." Emma was quiet for a long moment. He kicked you out? Yes. When you needed him most? Yes. And now he needs you. I nodded. She looked at me with those brown eyes that were so much like mine. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. But I wanted you to know, because if I decide to do this, it affects you too. There are risks, recovery time, and it means reconnecting with people who hurt me very badly. Do you want to do it? Did I? I had spent 15 years trying not to think about them, trying to excise them from my heart like a tumor. And here was a chance to let them stay excised, to let nature take its course, to finally, definitively, be free of Richard Martinez. But could I live with that? Could I look my daughter in the eye and tell her that when her grandfather needed saving, I chose revenge over mercy? I don't know, I said honestly. Part of me wants to. Part of me wants to let him die and never look back. Emma reached across the table and took my hand. You're the best person I know, Mom. Whatever you decide, it'll be the right thing. I called the hospital the next morning and asked to be tested. The compatibility testing took 3 days. Blood work, imaging, medical history. Dr. Patel walked me through everything, the surgery, the risks, the recovery. I would be in the hospital for a week, then off work for at least 6 weeks. And he definitely needs this to live? I asked. Without a transplant, he has perhaps 4 to 6 weeks left. And if I'm compatible? The surgery would likely be scheduled within 10 days of confirmation. Okay, test me. I was a match. Dr. Patel called me personally with the results. You're an excellent match. We can schedule surgery for next Wednesday if you consent. Can I see him first? Of course. He's in room 412. Part 4. The hospital room. I hadn't seen my father in 15 years. I didn't know what to expect. Would he look the same? Would I even recognize him? Would he recognize me? I stood outside room 412 for a full 5 minutes before I could make myself open the door. The room smelled of antiseptic and illness. Machines beeped. An IV drip hung beside the bed. And in that bed, small and gray and somehow diminished, was my father. He had aged dramatically. His hair was completely white now, thinning across his scalp. His face was gaunt, yellowed with jaundice. His hands, once so strong and calloused from construction work, looked fragile as paper where they rested on the blanket. He turned his head when I entered. For a long moment, we just stared at each other. Sophia, he said finally. His voice was weak, nothing like the commanding tone I remembered. Hello, Dad. My mother sat in a chair by the window. She looked older, too, smaller, grayer, worn down by time and guilt. When she saw me, she started crying. Oh, Sophia, Sophia, baby. I didn't go to her. I stayed by the door, my purse clutched in my hands like a shield. Thank you for coming, my father said. The doctor called me. I know, I asked him to. Why? He closed his eyes. Because I'm dying, and you're my daughter. I stopped being your daughter 15 years ago. You made that very clear. He flinched. I was wrong. You were wrong? Yes. That's it? You were wrong? Sophia, please. My mother started. No. I cut her off. I stood in the rain outside your house for 2 hours with a suitcase and nowhere to go. I was 19, pregnant, terrified, and you locked the door. I know, my father whispered. Do you know what it's like to give birth alone? To raise a child with no help, no support, no family? No. Do you know what it's like to work 2 jobs and go to school and take care of a baby all at the same time because you have no choice? No. Do you know what it's like to watch your daughter ask why she doesn't have grandparents and not know what to tell her? He was crying now, tears running down his yellow-tinged cheeks. I'm sorry, Sophia. I'm so sorry. You're sorry because you're dying, not because you were wrong. That's not true. Isn't it? I stepped closer to the bed. If you weren't sick, would you have called me? Would you have reached out? or would I still be dead to you? He didn't answer. That's what I thought. My mother stood up. Sophia, we've thought about you every day, every single day. But you never picked up the phone. Your father. Your father. Your father. What about you, Mom? You're a person. You had a choice. She crumpled back into the chair. I'm weak. I know I'm weak. You chose him over me. I did. God help me, I did. And I've regretted it every day since. The room was silent, except for the beeping of machines and my father's labored breathing. He looked at me with those watery eyes. Please, Sophia, you're my only chance. The doctors say you're compatible. You can save me. Please. You're not going to let me die, are you? And there it was. The question. The choice. The moment 15 years in the making. I thought about that November night, about my suitcase and the rain and the locked door. I thought about Emma's first steps and her first day of school, and every moment he had missed. I thought about the letter in my drawer and the apologies that came too late. I thought about the young girl I'd been and the woman I'd become, and I made my choice. Part 5. 7 words. You want me to save you, I said slowly. Yes. Please. After you threw me away like garbage. I know what I did. You destroyed me. I'm sorry. Do you know what the hardest part was? I asked. It wasn't the money. It wasn't being alone. It was looking at my daughter and seeing your eyes looking back at me. It was trying to teach her about family when I don't know what family means anymore. Sophia. I rebuilt myself from nothing, from less than nothing. I made a good life, a life you know nothing about. I want to know, my father said desperately. I want to meet her, my granddaughter. I want to... Now you want to know? Now you want to be a grandfather? How convenient. How perfectly timed with your need for a new liver. That's not fair, my mother said quietly. I turned to her. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I just mean your father has changed. This illness, it's made him think about what's important, about what he's lost. He hasn't lost anything. He threw it away. There's a difference. My father was sobbing now, his thin shoulders shaking. Please, please, Sophia. I'm begging you. I don't want to die. I'm not ready. Please. I watched him cry. This man who had been so strong, so certain, so righteous in his judgment, now reduced to begging his disowned daughter for a piece of her liver. The irony wasn't lost on me. Mom wrote me a letter, I said. Did you know that? She looked up, surprised. 2 years ago, she apologized, said she should have stood up for me. I should have, she whispered. You should have, I agreed. But you didn't. And Dad, you never even tried. I'm trying now, he said. No, you're dying now. That's not the same thing. Sophia, please. Do you remember what you said to me that night? He didn't answer. You said I made my bed and had to lie in it. Do you remember? Yes. Well, Dad, I looked at him, really looked at him, at this stranger who shared my DNA, but nothing else. You made your bed. Understanding dawned in his eyes. Horror, disbelief. Sophia, no, I'll donate, I'll save your life. Hope flared in his face. But not because you asked, not because you apologized, not because you're my father. I leaned close to his bed, so close I could smell the sickness on him. I'm doing it because I'm better than you. 7 words. His face crumbled. I'm doing it because I won't let you turn me into you. Because I won't let your cruelty poison me into cruelty. Because my daughter is watching, and I need her to know that being the bigger person isn't weakness. It's strength. I straightened up. So yes, I'll save your life. I'll give you a piece of my liver and a chance to live. But understand this. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me, for Emma, for the woman I've become despite you. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you, Sophia. Don't thank me. This doesn't mean forgiveness. It doesn't mean we're family again. It means I'm human. And that's more than you were when I needed you. Part 6. Recovery. The surgery happened on a Wednesday morning. Emma stayed with Sarah. My mother wanted to wait with her, but I said no. This was mine. My choice. My sacrifice. She didn't get to be part of it. The surgery took 8 hours. They removed 60% of my liver, the left lobe and part of the right, and transplanted it into my father. Dr. Patel said it went perfectly. I woke up in recovery in more pain than I had ever experienced. It felt like someone had filleted me open and rearranged my insides, which I suppose they had. My father was in a room down the hall, also in recovery, also in pain. The difference was, he had chosen his pain through years of alcoholism. Dr. Patel had been frank about the cause of his liver failure. I had chosen mine through mercy. I spent a week in the hospital. My mother came to visit once. She sat by my bed and cried and thanked me and apologized. I let her talk. I didn't have the energy to respond. Emma came every day after school. She held my hand and did her homework in the chair and told me about her day. She asked if I was okay. I will be, I told her. Did you see him, Grandpa? No. Do you want to? I don't know. On the 6th day, a nurse told me my father wanted to see me. Tell him I'm sleeping, I said. She gave me a look. Are you sure? I'm sure. I went home after 8 days. Sarah drove me, Emma in the back seat, chattering about everything and nothing. My house had never looked so good, my tiny, imperfect, hard-won house. Sarah had stocked my refrigerator, had put fresh flowers on the kitchen table, had made up my bed with clean sheets. Thank you, I said, and meant it with everything I had. That's what family does, she said. And I realized she was right. Family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the friend who takes you in when you have nowhere to go, the boss who lets you bring your baby to work, the daughter who holds your hand through surgery, the people who show up. My father survived. Of course he did. The surgery was a success. His body accepted the transplant. He was discharged 2 weeks after me, sent home with medications and instructions, and a second chance at life. He called me when he got home. Sophia, it's Dad. I know. I wanted to thank you again. The doctors say, I don't need updates. Oh, okay. I wanted you to know that I'm grateful, and I hope someday. Goodbye, Dad. I hung up. He called 3 more times. I didn't answer. Part 7. Moving forward, 6 months after the surgery, my mother called. Sophia, please, can we talk? We're talking now. In person, please, just coffee. Half an hour. I don't know why I said yes. Maybe because I was healing and felt stronger. Maybe because I was curious. Maybe because some part of me, the daughter I used to be, still wanted a mother. We met at a cafe near my house. She was already there when I arrived, sitting by the window, looking nervous. She had lost weight. Her hair was completely gray now, cut short. Hi, baby, she said when she saw me. Don't call me that. She flinched. Right, sorry, thank you for coming. I sat down, ordered coffee, waited. How are you feeling? She asked. Fine, healed. Good, that's good. She twisted her napkin. And Emma? She's fine too. I'd love to meet her, someday, if you'd let me. I don't know if that's a good idea. I understand. She looked out the window. Your father asks about you, every day. He wants to see you, to see Emma. I'm sure he does. He's changed, Sophia. Really changed. The surgery, it scared him, made him realize what's important. It took almost dying for him to realize his daughter is important? I know how that sounds. Do you? Do you really? I leaned forward. Mom, I spent 15 years building a life without you, without either of you. I don't need you anymore. I don't know if I even want you. Her eyes filled with tears. I know we don't deserve another chance, but nothing. You made a choice. You chose him. You chose his pride over your daughter. And now you have to live with that. I do. Every day. But Sophia, I'm still your mother. You're still my daughter. That doesn't just disappear. Doesn't it? You disappeared from my life pretty easily. I never stopped loving you. Love isn't just a feeling, Mom. It's action, it's choice, it's showing up, and you didn't. She was crying openly now. I know. I was weak. I am weak. But I want to try. I want to be in your life. In Emma's life. Please. I wanted to say no, wanted to stand up and walk away and never look back. But I thought about Emma, about how she asked about family, about how she deserved to know where she came from, even if it was complicated. And I thought about the woman I wanted to be, the woman I was becoming. I'll think about it, I said. 3 months later, I brought Emma to meet my mother. We met at a park neutral ground. My mother brought a photo album of pictures from my childhood. Emma flipped through it, fascinated. That's you, Mom? Yeah, I was about your age there. You look just like me. My mother smiled. She does. She looks exactly like you did. Emma asked 1,000 questions. About me, about my childhood, about our family. My mother answered them all, carefully, honestly, always checking my face to see if she was going too far. At the end of the afternoon, Emma hugged her. It was nice to meet you, Grandma. My mother looked at me, questioning. I nodded. She hugged Emma back, crying into her hair. It was nice to meet you too, sweetheart. My father, I still haven't seen. My mother asks sometimes, gently, without pressure. Maybe someday, I tell her, and maybe someday I will. Maybe when I'm ready. Maybe when enough time has passed that I can look at him without remembering that November night, without remembering the rain and the locked door and the suitcase in my hand. Or maybe I never will. Some wounds heal, some leave scars, and some never quite close. Epilogue. Emma is 16 now, tall and beautiful and fierce. She knows her grandfather lives across town. She knows what happened. She asked once if we should visit him. Do you want to? I asked. She thought about it. I want to meet him, but only if you're okay with it. What do you want from him? Just to see him, to understand where I come from. So we made a plan. Emma and my mother would visit. I would stay home. Are you sure? My mother asked. I'm sure. He'll want to see you. I know. Sophia. Mom, I gave him my liver. I gave him life. I don't owe him anything else. They went last Saturday. Emma came home hours later, thoughtful and quiet. How was it? I asked. He cried a lot, said he was sorry, asked about you. What did you tell him? That you're the strongest person I know, that you built a good life, that I'm proud to be your daughter. My throat tightened. What did he say? That he knows, that he's proud of you too, that he doesn't deserve you, but he's grateful for you. And I told him you didn't do it for him. You did it because that's who you are. I pulled her into a hug. Thank you. For what? For understanding, for being you. Late at night sometimes, when the house is quiet, I think about my father in his house across town, living on borrowed time, my time, walking around with a piece of me inside him, whether he likes it or not. I think about forgiveness, about whether it's something you give or something you reach, about whether it's even necessary. I think about the girl I was and the woman I've become, about all the ways I'm like him and all the ways I'm nothing like him, and I think about those 7 words, I'm better than you. They were true when I said them. They're still true now. Not better in a superior way. Not better in a moral high ground way. Just better in the sense that I learned from his mistakes. That I broke the cycle. That when my daughter needed me, I showed up. Every single day, no matter what. That's what being better means. Sometimes my mother asks if I'll ever forgive him. I don't know, I tell her honestly. Maybe forgiveness isn't the goal. Maybe peace is. Have you found it? Peace? I think about my house, my daughter, my life that I built from nothing. Yeah, I say. I think I have. And I realize it's true. Not because of him. Not because I saved him or didn't save him. Not because I'm generous or bitter or anything in between. But because I chose to live for myself and for Emma, not against him. I chose to be defined by what I built, not by what was taken from me. I chose to be a mother first and a daughter second. I chose to be human, even when humanity hurt. And in the end, that's what saved me, not him. Me. Emma asked me once what I would say if I saw my father again. I thought about it for a long time. I'd probably say thank you, I told her. She looked confused. For what? For teaching me exactly who I never want to be. She smiled. That's kind of sad. Maybe, but it's also kind of powerful. He thought he was ending my story when he threw me out. But really, he was just beginning it. Do you think he knows that? I don't know. I don't think it matters. Why not? Because it's not his story anymore. It's mine, and I get to write the ending. Last week, my father had his 1-year post-transplant checkup. My mother told me the doctors are amazed at how well he's doing. The liver, my liver, has regenerated perfectly in his body. He's healthy, strong. He could live another 20 years. He wants to write you a letter, my mother said. Would you read it? I don't know. He just wants to explain. Mom, there's nothing to explain. I understand perfectly. He valued his pride more than his daughter. That's clear. That's always been clear. He was scared. So was I. I was 19 and pregnant and terrified, and he sent me into the world alone. I know. Do you? Do you really know what that was like? She was quiet for a long moment. No, I don't. But I see what it made you. And Sophia, you're magnificent. I didn't know what to say to that. You're everything I wish I had been, she continued. Strong, independent, brave. You're a better mother to Emma than I ever was to you. That's not a high bar. I know, and I'm sorry. I'll be sorry for the rest of my life. The letter arrived 3 days later. I left it on the kitchen counter for a week, unopened. Just looking at his handwriting, still strong, still clear, made something twist in my chest. Finally, on a Sunday morning, when Emma was at Sophie's house, I sat down with coffee and opened it. Dear Sophia, I don't know if you'll read this. I don't blame you if you don't. But I need to try to put into words what I haven't been able to say to your face. I was wrong. Not just about that night, but about everything. About what matters. About what family means. About what it means to be a father. I thought I was protecting our family's honor. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought your mistake would define us in the eyes of everyone we knew. I was so afraid of shame that I created a shame far worse, the shame of abandoning my own child. I have spent 15 years trying not to think about that night, about your face when I told you to leave, about how young you looked standing in the rain, about how I closed the door and went to bed and tried to pretend you had never existed. I couldn't even say your name. When people asked about you, I told them you had moved away for school. I built an entire fictional version of your life so I wouldn't have to face what I had done. Your mother would try to talk about you, and I would leave the room. I was so committed to my decision that I convinced myself it was right, that you had forced my hand, that I was the victim. Then I got sick. At first I was angry. Why me? What had I done to deserve this? The doctors explained it was cirrhosis, years of drinking catching up with me. I started drinking more after you left. Not every day at first, just sometimes. To help me sleep. To quiet the voice in my head that sounded like you saying, I'm your daughter. That voice never went away, Sophia. Not even when I tried to drown it. When they told me I needed a transplant, your mother immediately said you should be tested. I said no. I said I would rather die than ask you for help. I said you probably wouldn't do it anyway. I had so thoroughly convinced myself that you were ungrateful, selfish, just like I had claimed, that I couldn't imagine you would save me. Your mother fought me on it. For the first time in our marriage, she stood up to me. She said, you will call our daughter, or I will leave you to die alone. So I agreed to let the doctors call you. And you came. When you walked into that hospital room, I barely recognized you. You were so different from the frightened 19-year-old I had sent away. You were confident, strong, beautiful. And I realized with a shock I had missed it all. Your entire adult life. Every moment of your daughter's childhood. Everything. When you agreed to save me, I thought maybe it meant you had forgiven me, that we could start over. But then you said those 7 words. I'm better than you. At first I was angry. How dare you? How dare you stand over my deathbed and insult me? But as I lay there recovering, your words echoing in my head, I realized something. You were right. You are better than me. Not because you saved my life, though that took courage I never had, but because when your daughter needed you, you showed up. When life got hard, you didn't run. You didn't hide behind pride or anger or excuses. You just did what needed to be done. You broke the cycle, Sophia. You became exactly the parent I should have been and never was. I walk around now with a piece of you inside me. Your liver, your strength, your mercy. And I think about that every day. I think about how you gave me something precious, not just life, but an example of what it means to be good. I don't deserve your forgiveness. I know that. I'm not asking for it. I'm just asking you to know that I see you now. I see what you built. I see the woman you've become. I see Emma God. She looks so much like you, and I see the mother you are to her. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I'm sorry I chose wrong. I'm sorry it took dying for me to realize that pride is nothing and family is everything. If I could go back to that night, I would. I would throw my arms around you and tell you we would figure it out together. I would tell you I was scared too, but that we were family, and family doesn't abandon each other. I would tell you that I loved you more than my reputation, more than what the neighbors thought, more than my own stupid pride. But I can't go back. All I can do is say these words now, knowing they're 15 years too late. Thank you for saving my life. Thank you for being better than me. Thank you for showing me what strength really looks like. I love you, Sophia. I always did, even when I pretended I didn't. Even when I tried to erase you from my life. You were always my daughter. You were always in my heart, even when I was too broken to admit it. I don't expect anything from you. I don't expect visits or phone calls or a relationship. I just needed you to know. I'm proud of you. I'm so incredibly proud of you. And I'm sorry. Love, Dad. I read the letter 3 times. Then, I folded it carefully and put it back in the envelope. I didn't cry. I didn't call him. I didn't run to my mother with it or show it to Emma. I just sat with it. With his words. With the apology I had waited 15 years to hear. And I realized something strange. It didn't change anything. The words were nice. They were probably even sincere. But they didn't undo that November night. They didn't give me back my mother at 19. They didn't give Emma grandparents at her first birthday, her first day of school, her soccer games. Words can't travel backward through time. But maybe they can point forward. 2 months later, on Emma's 16th birthday, I made a decision. We were having dinner, just the 2 of us, our tradition. When I said, "Your grandfather wants to meet you properly, have a real relationship. Your grandmother too." Emma put down her fork. "What do you think?" "I think it's up to you. You're old enough to decide what kind of relationship you want with them." "What kind do you have?" "With Grandma? We're working on it. It's complicated, but we're trying." "And with Grandpa?" "I haven't seen him since the hospital." "Do you want to?" I thought about the letter, about his words, about forgiveness and peace and all the space between them. "I don't know," I said honestly, "but I don't want my pain to limit your choices. If you want to know him, you should be able to." "But he hurt you." "He did. Badly. But he's also your grandfather, and you deserve to make your own decisions about that." Emma was quiet, thinking. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Do you regret saving him?" I thought about it, really thought about it. "No," I said finally. "I don't regret it. Not because he deserved it, he didn't. but because I needed to know I could do the right thing even when it hurt. I needed to prove to myself that I was better than the worst thing that happened to me. And are you? Yes, I think so. She smiled. Then I want to meet him, really meet him. But Mom? Yeah? Can you be there, the first time? My heart clenched. You want me to come? I don't want to do it without you. We went the following Saturday. My mother opened the door, her face transforming when she saw us both standing there. Sophia, you came. For Emma. I know, thank you. The house looked exactly the same. Same furniture, same pictures on the walls, minus the ones of me. Same smell of my mother's cooking. It was like stepping into a time capsule of my childhood, except I was a ghost in my own history. My father was in the living room. He stood when we entered, and I saw him clearly for the first time since the hospital. He looked good, healthy. The yellow tinge was gone from his skin. His eyes were clear. He had gained weight. He looked like a man who had been given a second chance and was taking it seriously. Sophia, he said, his voice shaking. Thank you for coming. This is Emma, I said, not responding to his greeting. Emma, this is your grandfather. Emma stepped forward, brave as always. Hi. Hi, sweetheart. His voice broke on the word. You're so beautiful. You look just like your mother did at your age. Everyone says that. It's true. He looked at me. Sophia, can we talk? That's why we're here. We sat down. My mother brought coffee. The scene was so painfully normal, it hurt. I got your letter, I said finally. Did you read it? Yes. And it was a nice letter. It said all the right things. But words are just words, Dad. They don't undo the past. I know they don't, but I meant every word. I believe you, but that doesn't mean everything is okay now. That doesn't mean we're suddenly a happy family. I know that too. Emma was watching us, her eyes moving back and forth like she was watching a tennis match. So where do we go from here? My father asked. I looked at him, this man who gave me life and then took away my home. This man who I saved not out of love, but out of principle. This man who was my father and also a stranger. I don't know, I said. But I'm here today because Emma wanted to meet you. And because I'm trying to be the bigger person. I'm trying to believe that people can change, that it's never too late to choose better. I have changed. I swear to you. I don't need your swears. I need your actions. I need consistency over time. I need proof. Tell me what to do. Tell me how to prove it. You can't prove it to me, Dad. You can only prove it to yourself. And maybe, over time, if you show up for Emma the way you never showed up for me, I'll start to believe it. He nodded, tears streaming down his face. I'll do that, I promise. Whatever Emma needs. It's not about needs. It's about presence. It's about being there for the boring stuff, not just the big moments. It's about being a grandfather. I will be. I swear I will be. Emma spoke up then, her voice clear and strong. Can I say something? We all turned to her. I want to know you, she said to my father. I want to have a relationship, but you need to understand something. Anything. My mom is the most amazing person in the world. She raised me by herself. She worked herself to exhaustion to give me a good life. She taught me everything I know about being strong and kind and brave. And she did it all without you? My father nodded, unable to speak. So if you want to be in my life, you have to respect her. You have to understand that she doesn't owe you anything. She already gave you everything when she saved your life. Anything beyond that is grace. I understand. Good. Emma leaned back. Then we can try. But Grandpa, you messed this up. You don't get another chance. I'm not my mom. I won't give you a piece of my liver if you hurt us again. Despite everything, I almost laughed. My daughter, the badass. I won't mess up, my father said. I promise you, I won't. We'll see, Emma said. We stayed for 2 hours. Awkward, careful, but not hostile. My father told Emma stories about my childhood. The good ones, the ones before everything broke. My mother showed her more photos. Emma asked questions, and my parents answered them. I sat there mostly quiet, watching, observing, trying to figure out how I felt. The truth was, I didn't know. I wasn't sure if what I felt was forgiveness or just exhaustion, if it was peace or just numbness. Maybe it didn't matter. Maybe the point wasn't to feel the right way. Maybe the point was just to keep choosing the next right thing, one moment at a time. As we were leaving, my father stopped me at the door. Sophia, I thank you, for today, for giving me this chance. I'm not doing it for you. I know, you said that. You're better than me. I am. I know, and I'm grateful for it, because if you weren't, I'd be dead, and I deserve it. I looked at him, really looked at him, and I saw something I hadn't seen before. Genuine remorse. Real understanding of what he'd done. Not just fear of consequences, but actual grief over his choices. It didn't fix anything, but it was something. Goodbye, Dad, I said. Will you come back? Maybe, if Emma wants to. And if Emma doesn't, then no. He nodded. Fair enough. On the drive home, Emma was quiet. What are you thinking? I asked. He seems sad. He is sad. Do you feel bad for him? Sometimes, in the way you feel bad for anyone who has to live with their mistakes. Do you think he really changed? I think he's trying. Whether that's the same as changed, I don't know yet. Time will tell. Would you save him again? If you had to decide today? I thought about it. Yeah, I would. Why? Because the alternative is becoming someone I don't want to be. Because mercy isn't about what people deserve. It's about who you choose to be when no one is watching and no one would blame you for walking away. That's really hard. The hardest thing I've ever done. Harder than raising me alone? Different kind of hard. Raising you was exhausting and scary, but it was also full of love and purpose. Saving him was just hard. No silver lining. Just the weight of doing the right thing. She reached over and squeezed my hand. I'm proud of you, Mom. I'm proud of you too, baby. You were incredible in there. Learned from the best. It's been 6 months since that first visit. Emma sees her grandparents every few weeks. Sometimes I go, sometimes I don't. When I do go, I stay polite but distant. When I don't, Emma reports back. Grandpa asked about you, she'll say. That's nice. He wanted to know if you're happy. What did you tell him? That you're the happiest person I know. And the strange thing is, it's true. I am happy. Not because I forgave my father, I'm still working on that. May always be working on that. But because I built a life that's mine. Because I have a daughter who loves me. Because I have friends who are family. Because I survived and then thrived and then became someone I'm proud of. My father's approval or disapproval doesn't define me anymore. His presence or absence doesn't break me. I am whole on my own. That's what those 7 words meant. I'm better than you. Not better in some moral superiority way. Better in the sense that I learned from his worst and became my best. Better in the sense that the cycle ended with me. Emma will never know what it's like to have a parent reject her. She will never stand in the rain with nowhere to go. She will never doubt, even for a moment, that she is loved unconditionally. That's my legacy. Not the liver I gave my father, but the love I gave my daughter. The breaking of generational trauma. The choosing of a different path. Last week, my father called me directly for the first time since the surgery. Sophia, it's Dad. Hi. I wanted to call and tell you something. I'm in therapy. I was surprised. Therapy? Your mother suggested it. Well, more like insisted on it. I'm working through things. Childhood stuff. Why I became the kind of man who could abandon his daughter. It's hard, but it's helping. That's good, Dad. I'm learning that I was so afraid of shame that I created a shame far worse, that I repeated patterns from my own father. He was cruel when I disappointed him. I swore I'd never be like him, and then I became exactly like him when you needed me most. Dad, let me finish. Please. I need to say this. Okay. I'm not calling to ask for anything. Not forgiveness, not a relationship, nothing. I'm calling because my therapist said I need to own what I did. Out loud. To you. I'm listening. I abandoned you when you were vulnerable. I prioritized reputation over relationship. I let fear make me cruel. I chose pride over love. And worst of all, I convinced myself I was right to do it. I didn't just hurt you, I justified hurting you. And that's unforgivable. The line was quiet, except for his breathing. You're right, I said finally. It is unforgivable. I know. But maybe that's okay. Maybe some things don't need to be forgiven. Maybe they just need to be survived. Have you survived? Yes. I've done more than survive. I've built a beautiful life. I've raised an incredible daughter. I've become someone I'm proud of. Not despite what you did, because of what you did. You taught me exactly who I didn't want to be. I don't know if I should thank you for that or apologize again. Neither. Just be better going forward. Show up for Emma. Prove that people can change. That's all you can do now. I will. I promise I will. Promises are easy, Dad. Consistency is hard. I know, but I'm trying. Every single day, I'm trying. That's all any of us can do. When I hung up, I realized something had shifted. Not forgiveness exactly, not reconciliation, but something softer than anger, something quieter than pain. Maybe it was acceptance, maybe it was just tiredness. Maybe it was the understanding that holding onto rage was like holding onto hot coals. I was the one getting burned. I thought about what Emma had said months ago. You're the happiest person I know. She was right. I am happy. Not because my father apologized, or because we're fixing our relationship, but because I stopped waiting for him to give me something he couldn't give. I gave it to myself instead. I gave myself permission to be angry, permission to be sad, permission to not forgive, permission to take my time, permission to be human and messy and complicated. And in that permission, I found freedom. Epilogue. Years later, Emma graduated from college last month. She's studying social work. She wants to help single mothers and at-risk kids. She wants to be the support system for others that so many people were for me. My father was at the graduation, my mother too. They sat 3 rows behind us, respecting the boundaries I'd set. But afterward, when Emma wanted a family photo, I didn't say no. We stood together, 4 generations of women, if you count my mother, Emma, and me, plus my father on the end. The photographer said, "Smile!" And we did. It wasn't a fake smile either. It was real, if complicated. Later, Emma showed me the photo. We look like a family, she said. We are a family, just a complicated one. Is that okay? Yeah, baby, that's okay. Most families are complicated. We just pretend they're not. My father pulled me aside before he left. Thank you, he said, for today, for letting me be here. Emma wanted you here. This was her day. Still, thank you. We stood there awkwardly. Sophia, can I ask you something? What? Do you think you'll ever forgive me? I looked at him. At this man who I shared DNA with, but not much else. At this person who had hurt me so deeply that the scars would never fully fade. At this stranger who was my father. I don't know, I said honestly. Some days I think I have. Some days I'm still that 19-year-old standing in the rain. Forgiveness isn't a switch I can flip. It's a process, and I'm still in it. That's fair. But I will say this. I don't hate you anymore, and I don't wish you harm. And I'm glad you got to see Emma graduate. So maybe that's a kind of forgiveness, just not the kind where we pretend the past didn't happen. I'll take it, he said quietly. It's more than I deserve. Probably. He smiled sadly. You really are better than me. I know. That night, Emma and I sat on the porch of our house, the same house I'd bought 12 years ago, now paid off and truly ours. Mom, can I ask you something heavy? Always. Do you think you would have been as strong if Grandpa hadn't kicked you out? I thought about it. I don't know. Maybe I would have been a different kind of strong. Or maybe I wouldn't have needed to be strong at all. Maybe I would have just been happy and supported and normal. Would you trade it? If you could go back and change it? That's a complicated question. I know. If I changed it, I might not have you. Or I might have you, but we'd be different people. I might be someone who never learned how to stand on her own. You might be someone who never saw what strength looks like. So no? You wouldn't change it? I would change the pain, the fear, the loneliness. I would change every night I cried myself to sleep, wondering how I was going to feed you. But the outcome? Who we became? No. I wouldn't change that. Emma rested her head on my shoulder. I'm glad I got you as my mom. I'm glad I got you as my daughter. Even though I was the reason. No. I cut her off firmly. You were never the reason he kicked me out. His pride was the reason. His fear was the reason. His inability to love better than he was loved was the reason. You were innocent. You were a baby. You were a blessing, even when you felt like a burden. Do you really believe that? With everything I am. We sat in silence, watching fireflies start to appear in the yard. Mom. Yeah? Those 7 words you said to Grandpa in the hospital, I'm better than you. Do you still believe them? Every day. Good, because they're true. You're the best person I know. I think about that November night sometimes. Less often now, but it still comes. Usually when it rains. Usually when I'm alone. Usually when I'm reminded that some wounds never completely heal, they just become part of your story. But here's what I've learned. You can be both wounded and whole. You can be both damaged and beautiful. You can carry pain and joy simultaneously. You can survive the worst thing that ever happened to you and still build a life worth living. You can even save the person who hurt you and still protect yourself. That's not weakness. That's not being a doormat. That's not betraying yourself. That's being human in its fullest, most complicated, most beautiful form. I gave my father a piece of my liver, but I didn't give him power over my happiness. I didn't give him control over my peace. I didn't give him the ability to make me small again. I gave him life. But I kept my own. And in the end, that's what those 7 words really meant. Not just, I'm better than you, but I'm better than what you did to me. I'm better than the story you tried to write for me. I'm better than the shame you tried to drown me in. I'm better. Not perfect. Not healed completely. Not unburdened by the past. Just better. One choice at a time. One day at a time. One act of mercy and one boundary and one moment of choosing myself at a time. That's the ending I chose. Not forgiveness. Not revenge. Not even reconciliation. Just being better. And that is enough.